What up, what up? Let me know if you guys can see and hear clearly. I'll give it a few seconds before people start coming in. I wonder if I can do that. That would be pretty cool, though.
I think you can.
What up, y'all? Welcome. Thanks for trickling in. Good evening, y'all. Lady B, how's it going? Bree, how's it going? Bree. I'm trying to figure out if I can look at my live screen on my laptop. That way I'm not trying to scroll through you guys' comments. But it doesn't seem like I can. I thought I was too, but I got called into work tomorrow. Plus, I can't even. I posted that thing. It's a new. Whoa, that's weird. There's a new. I can post to you guys like Instagram and Facebook through YouTube, but I can't actually check them. So if you guys respond to those posts, I haven't figured out how to read your responses. Oh shit! Check that out. Screen in front of me. Screen to the right. That's kind of weird. Thanks. Oh shit, it's got a little crown next to my name. How dope is that? Cool. This is just a. Oh, thanks, Lady B. This is a follow up to yesterday's. I got a ton of comments on them, but no, my luck. Those people with the questions probably won't be in here, but is this nicer? Just wait till I shave the beard off. This is so dope. I can like comment on here. All right, y'all. Hello, Bear Gold. You made it on time. Everyone is on time. I just realized that Ashira's live right now too, and half the squad is probably at Ashira's right now. Probably should have waited, but I'm tired as fuck, and I would like to chill a little bit before bed. 11 all day. You know 11 means, right? Ones mean to focus on the task at hand in the most important direction. Ones. So whenever I see 11, I think, am I doing some stupid shit, or am I focusing on what I need to be focusing on? That's hella funny. You didn't have to leave Ashira's channel. Too bad we can't join. We should just do a duel. I wonder if we could. You can't three-way call each other. Like Ashira and I could just call each other and do a duel live right now. That would be dope. Or I can log into Ashira's channel right now and go live and on my computer and just invite her over. Ooh, the question about the Lucid Elixir. No, it doesn't upset the stomach, the Lucid Elixir. It will. So AC Tree asked if the Lucid Elixir upset your stomach. It won't upset your stomach, but it will upset your palate, because this shit is bitter as all hell. Fuck, it's super bitter. It's not for the faint of heart, but I designed it to work, not to taste good, and it works phenomenally. I would suggest, the first night I had like 10 dreams. They didn't make a lot of sense. It was almost like my brain couldn't handle that many dreams at once, but I've been using it for a couple weeks now, and my dreams have been getting phenomenal, very different feel than what they've been before too. Very, really. And you know what I did actually? Remember I got Ashira's little tincture. I put 9 drops of Ashira's gold elixir into my Lucid blend a couple nights ago, and if it's a placebo effect, whatever, it still works. It's pretty dope. All right, if you like bitter, then you'll like this. I mean, it's hella bitter. It's no joke bitter. um, ooh, Lady B, to answer that, that's a great fucking question. So, what's the point of dreams being better to remember? How was that helpful in waking life? So, one, me personally, it's a lot. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting more out of my life when I have a lot of dreams, because you're asleep. So it's 24 hours in a day, 8 of it roughly sleeping. So a whole third of your day, a third of your life, you're asleep. So to me, it's just nice to be able to experience something instead of just blacking out and waking up in the morning. It feels like I can live in a whole different world when I'm sleeping. But on top of that, from a psychoanalytical point of view, um, our dream, we have a lot of things that, everything that comes up in our dream, well, not every, most things that come up in our dreams are parts of our psyche, our subconscious, you know. So if you have patterns that keep coming up in your dreams, you can say, why are these patterns showing? What do they mean to me? How, if it's a nightmare that keeps coming up. I have tons of reoccurring themes in my dreams, and those are just aspects of my waking life. So eventually, I would like to get from the to the point where um, I can dissect my personality in the waking world by what's showing up in the dream world. And furthermore, if you can lucid dream, which is the next step, the characters that you meet inside your lucid dreams are said to be parts of your aspect. So if there's a man sitting on a bench, you can sit next to that man and have a conversation with him. Ask him, it's like, what are you doing here? For example, what do you represent? What's your role? And just have a dialogue. And that person, it's almost like hacking into your subconscious. Um, you can have a one-on-one conversation with the person on the bench, and they will explain whatever they're explaining to you is you explaining to you. So it's kind of trippy. So that's another really, really useful part of remembering your dreams. Also, if you're doing cool ass shit in your dreams, like you turn into a fucking dragon and start flying around, if you don't remember it, it might as well have not happened, you know? So it just makes it more interesting, entertaining, fun, if nothing else, to be able to remember your dreams. Um, so so that's why it's, or to me, that's the point of dreams. Um, where are we? Damn, I was wishing. Hold on, y'all. I'm looking up some of the comments from yesterday on the video I did. Oh yeah, you asked what I was unboxing. I'm unboxing. I sold out of the beeswax yesterday, and I ordered the most you can order without having a storefront. 55 pounds. Remember that block I bought the first time when I showed you guys? It was a 16-pound block, and I thought that was huge. This bitch is 55 pounds right now. You want to see this right now?
What?
You want to see this?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, the business is doing super good. It's mad funny because what I wanted to do is have my dream tincture be the bread and butter of my products, and it's turning out that the candles are a fucking hit. I'm selling tons of candles, and I've only sold a handful of the spagyrics, which is fine. I'm super stoked on both of them. I love candles. Like my little Anubis candle right here. I guess we can put him in the frame. How dope is that? What up? Yes, it was my baby shower. Well, the one that I went to. The one that was in past the radiation zone. We're having a little boy, and his name is going to be Atlas. Unplugged. Unplugged. We were waiting for you the whole time. What took you so long? I couldn't start the show at all because I was like, where's Unplugged at? Thank you, Marigold. Appreciate that. My dad is messaging me again. Damn. All right, Pops. Dad, if you're watching this, I missed your message. And I can't look at your message without hanging up the live. So either text it again so I can read it before it disappears, or leave a message on the video because I can't see it right now. Oh my God, this is like... Damn, I thought that would be little pellets. Damn, it's just a huge fucking... I'm not sure if I'm able to show you guys. What's that smell? I think these essential oils are leaking in here. I know, Pops says, everyone say what's up to my dad. That he hasn't been able to figure out how to create an account so that he can leave comments on YouTube. But he was able to subscribe to the channel, so I'm not sure how he was able to subscribe, but... One video at a time. Which one? Lizzie, what do you mean one video at a time? I only have one video out right now. Alright. Fuck, I need scissors. By the way, this video was for a follow-up for yesterday's. You guys haven't asked any questions, so I'm just going to show you, do the unboxing part, unless you, ooh. This is weird. You guys see these little tiny dots? This is how the beeswax came, only there's a fucking million of them inside this bag. I don't know how I feel about these. They don't look as cool. What's in the box? 55 pounds of beeswax is in the box. Check it out. Hold on. I'm gonna cut the side of it. What's in the box? Did Toth arrive? No, Toth didn't arrive. I'm super close to buying those candle holders, though. How sick were those Toth candle holders? The Anubis ones are bomb, but the Toth ones are cooler. Oh yeah, Lizzie, you got to catch up. That one that came out yesterday was pretty good. I'm super stoked with how well it came out. All right, I'm just gonna... Yeah, come back with the questions, but be quick, because I'm not staying down too long this time. This is how it came. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like an ASMR video. Watch me touch wax. Mmm. Mmm. All sticky. Nice. Well, I think I might go make some candles right now because I haven't back ordered. And that's that good, Roddy. That's how I do it. That's that good. Yeah, so we're back in action. I have orders to go out, and I was out of wax. Thought this wasn't coming until Friday, and it came today. Damn, so I should probably go. Lizzie says hi, baby mama.
Aw, I said hi.
She says hi. Have I ever seen Nightcrawler? No, I haven't seen Nightcrawler. What's Nightcrawler? Damn, I want to make those other candles, but I want to walk downstairs with this fucking big ass bag of wax. Well, son of a bitch. You guys leave some of the strangest comments on my videos. This guy just said, fuck the government. I'm not even sure I was talking about the government in that video, but that's cool. Hold on. No follow-ups from yesterday's video. That's cool. We don't have to talk about that video. You guys have any other questions, or am I just gonna ramble on here? No boundaries, making it to the top. It's about a guy having no boundaries, making it to the top. Nightcrawler. How is putting boundaries in your life beneficial when chasing your dreams? Boundaries. I don't know. It's a tough question. It would have to come down to like the individual thing, but you can see boundaries as. So I would say how boundaries help you in chasing your dreams is boundaries provide structure, right? Because a boundary is literally the structure. Unplugged Q, semi-disagree. Alan Watts said that the best way to define your beliefs is to have someone question your beliefs, because it isn't until our beliefs are questioned that we're forced to define them. So that's good. It's good that you just type it. I know you're at work, but just type in your input. But like having no rules, pushing people when you have to, and being ruthless. All right, I'm gonna answer your question right now, Lady B. Let me just find it. How is putting boundaries in your life beneficial to chasing your dreams? To make it short, your boundaries is your structure, and if you have no structure to your life, you have no direction. So if you have no, but if you're talking boundaries in the sense of being a dickhead, that's a different kind of boundary, like morals or treating people. Unfortunately, in the business world, everyone's success is defined differently. So if your success is just making money, then you can be the biggest dickhead in the world and still make a ton of money. But most people's goals isn't to just make money. They want to be happy, and they figure that money will help with that. And it does. Money actually does. They've taken tons of polls, but the cap is about $90,000. Once people get about $90,000 a year, they rate themselves as the same amount of happiness. So, for example, if someone has $90,000 and someone has $5,000, they rate happiness roughly the same. So $0, not very happy. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. The reason for that, there's a part of our brain that, because we're animals, has a hierarchy system. So the more money we have, the more secure we feel. So we literally the less money we have, we feel like everything is a threat to our well-being, is what the scientists came down to. They said the less money you have, the more threatened you feel, because every little bad thing that happens, you know, your house is threatened, your car is threatened, your way of life is threatened, your relationships are threatened. If you have kids, your kids are threatened. So when you don't have much money, everything fucks you up. But once you get at about $80,000, $90,000, that's pretty much the cap of happiness. So when it comes to boundaries and being successful, there's all sorts of different kinds of boundaries, you know, but yeah, that movie you're talking about, I haven't seen it, but it sounds like he was just a dick and made it to the top and had no boundaries as far as the way he treated people. And like I said, you don't really need to be a nice person to make money, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know. Isn't duality part of human perception, since all thought is relative, as explained by the Hermetic principle of all is mind? Marigold, I don't understand. I understand kind of what you're saying, but I'm also on the. You're on the fence of what, Marigold? I'm not sure what you're on the fence about. The intuition part? Are you referring to Andre? Andre says, when I meditate, I get sort of instructions on what actions to take in my life, but I never do those things. Is this my higher self or some sort sabotage? Um, is your meditating your higher self? I don't know. It depends on what those thoughts are, man. I'm not sure. But what I meant yesterday about your intuition being hijacked um, is people people associate intuition with their gut feeling and making decisions without thinking about them. So they separate thinking about something and feeling something out, going strictly off of what feels good and what feels bad. The thing with feelings is that they come and go, and we don't always know where they're coming from. And it could be a trigger. It could be like that book I was reading about. It's easy for people to control and manipulate your emotions, and if you're making your decisions off your emotions, then those decisions aren't always yours. If you're meditating on top of a mountain and you download blueprints to build a fucking spaceship, that's probably not Kmart trying to sabotage you. You know what I mean? It maybe is some cosmic shit. Um, so that's what I mean. You just have to be careful. I'm not saying intuition is bad. I'm not saying not to use your intuition. I'm saying don't blindly follow your intuition without seeing where those things are coming from. So, Andre, for example, you said you're meditating and you get messages. Maybe that's good, right? Because you're clearing your mind, you're clearing space, and things are starting to come in. So I would assume, I don't know for sure, that those are good messages coming through. But like I said, every situation is different. You have to think about it. Like use your reason, use your logic. Um, all right, Marigold, I'm reading you about love not being all that exists and that there must be an opposite. Um, I'm still not following Marigold. I understand kind of what you're saying with Faye. About love not being all that exists and that there must be an opposite. Um, according to the Hermetic philosophy, like you said, since all thought is relative as explained by the Hermetic philosophy, um, that's huge. I wish you would narrow that down a little bit. I'm not sure where to start with that statement that you just gave. You know what I mean? Isn't duality a part of human perception? It is, but I don't see where we're disagreeing. I was saying duality is a part of human perception. Duality isn't even a part of human perception. Duality is a part of everything. Whether it's human perception, whether it's demons, angels, gods, and goddesses, and planets, and black holes, and white holes, and wormholes, and fucking loopholes, everything is dual in nature that exists outside of mind. That's like those 7 hermetic principles, the correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, all those exist at every plane: mind, body, soul, emotions, physical world, astral world, spiritual world. So it's not just human perception. It's fucking everything. Um, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question. I'm not even sure if you have a question, Marigold. I'm just like I'm trying to put together, picking up what you're putting down over here. I have a weird. I'll get to yours, Lady B, until Marigold says something. You said I had a weird thought about how our spirits are bounded in this body and seldomly, if ever, freed unless the heart stops. I wonder if that correlates to the electromagnetic field you speak of. I didn't finish your video yesterday. I figured I had time to watch it by tomorrow. Yeah, it was a long video. I can break the video down for you real quick. The first lie was always trust your intuition. And I said, don't buy into that because your intuition is hijacked, and there's thousands of studies that show how what you think is your intuition is actually your emotions being manipulated. So that was the first one. The second one is that ego is a bad thing, and that the evil is bad. And so they say to transcend your ego and let go of your ego and destroy your ego, kill the ego. And I said that that's also a terrible way to go about life, because your ego is not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just, I was, I believe that the ego is just the tool that separates you from oneness so that you can have an experience. So my ego is Keith, and my language and like my skin color and my hair and my clothes that I wear and the books that I read and the things that I'm into, all those are part of my ego that make me me to have this experience as Keith. And it's not good, it's not bad. And without the ego, we would just be back into oneness, right? So if you want to have an experience of something, you need something like the ego to separate you from oneness. The only thing with that is that if you don't understand what the ego actually is, it's just a lens. Then you start to attach to the ego. You start to think that you are the ego, and you think that you believe in the separation so much that you feel isolated and dark, and that's where all the dark shit happens. So um, the ego is almost like the representation of the fall of man. But again, you need it. Like if there was no such thing as ego, there would be oneness. There wouldn't be humanity, aliens, worlds, oceans, planets, sunsets, full moons, and shit. Like none of that would happen without a way to separate everything from each other so that we can experience everything. So that was the second thing, and the third thing was, the third thing was that it's all love, and that one's kind of tricky to wrap my head around. I think that's why we're having trouble answering the question. And everyone says that it's all love, and that love is all go back to love in a sense. Like everything's coming from love. And I said that that's not necessarily accurate because, and that's where we're talking about polarity, because when you label something, then you immediately introduce its opposite, and the two things define each other. So you can't have hot without cold, for example. You can't have courage without fear, and love is the same. You can't have love without hate. So love and hate are the same exact thing to varying degree. That's what the Hermetic philosophy would say. Just like hot and cold are the same exact thing to varying degree. And a really good example of that, so you can wrap your head around it, is if you look at a thermometer, um, 30 degrees and 90 degrees Fahrenheit, right? You're measuring the same thing. You're measuring temperature, heat energy. It's just where on the scale are you measuring it. Over here it's at 30, over here it's at 90. It's the same exact thing. But one side someone calls cold and the other side someone calls hot. But hot and cold are completely subjective, which is what I was getting to in the video. Love is subjective. People kill and murder each other because they love one another, or they murder each other because they love their God. So love can lead to pretty fucked up things, and it can lead to hate. Love and hate. It's why somebody, you love someone 1 second and you hate them the next second. It's emotions are super confusing. So oneness, where it all comes from, I wouldn't say is love. I would say it's undefinable. And someone left a beautiful comment on the video yesterday. Oh my god, it was so good. I'm gonna read it to you guys. Give me 1 second. It was pretty phenomenal. Son of earth and sky. She or he is usually in here, but I don't think they're in here right now. On that love comment, she wrote, love, it is not the all, right? So that's what I'm saying. Love is not the all. But it is the warmth which radiates from it. It is no more the all than warmth is the sun. The sun creates light, energy, and warmth, and sustains life, but none of these are the sun. Fuck, that's so beautifully said. But are born from it and radiate from it. Those who feel all around them and within them radiate love and peace like the moon, which only reflects the sun's light, but is neither the sun nor its source. That was so fun. Like, if she came up with that off the top of her head, or he, I'm super impressed, because I couldn't have and didn't say it better myself. So she's saying the same thing, but worded a lot better. Love isn't the all. Love isn't all there is. It extends from it, just like everything else. Hate extends from the all. Love extends from the all. Fear, happiness, courage, shame, anger, guilt, jealousy, everything, past, future, present emotions and physical things and circumstances and wars and peace treaties, everything extends from source, but none of those things are source. Source is infinite and undefinable because, again, if you were to define it by saying it is love, then you're creating the opposite. You're also introducing hate by saying love. Does that make a little more sense? That's where I was getting at, and I guess the reason why that's important, one, because it's a little closer to home, it's a little closer to truth, and I feel it's always better to be a little closer to truth, even if you don't know what to do with it. It's nice to know. And two, I don't know, something just feels, well, it's one-sided to say everything's all love, everything's all love, everything's all love, because then you get twisted when hateful things happen, and then you start asking why do bad things happen, why do bad things happen, why is there hate, why is there murder, death, rape, why are all these bad things, shouldn't it all be love? And the answer is, it's not all love, it's all everything. And as long as we're having an existence outside of oneness, then there's going to be duality, there's going to be ups and downs and troughs and crests, and gullies and shit. And now I'm going back, you guys. And you said intuition isn't something that's going on, is it? It comes when needed. No, love and fear are not opposites of each other. That should have been the fucking fourth one. I hate when they say love and fear are opposites of each other. No, love and fear are not. Fear and courage are opposite of each other. The opposite of love is hate, or it should be. I mean, I feel those two are a lot closer to each other than love and fear. That's not. Love and fear it sounds good in movies, and gurus talk about that shit all the time because it fits all the triggers of spiritual talk. But no, I don't think love and fear are opposite at all. I don't. At least I don't believe in that. I could be wrong. I mean, all this shit I'm talking about is subjective. I can't scientifically verify that there's such thing as the all and that everything emanates from it. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. But personally, I think that the opposite of love is hate, and the opposite of fear is courage. I don't think that love and hate love and fear to me seem to not have much to do with each other. Crystal, what up? Welcome. We've been on for days. We've been on for 33 minutes to be exact. Maybe not days, but half an hour. Ooh, Dark Moon 999. That's funny because I've been seeing nines like crazy lately. Dark Moon, thanks for creeping in with your nines, and just the third pair of nines I've seen in probably the past 24 hours. Peace, darkness, love, lights. I am Anessa Life 360. Welcome to the squad. Ooh, 3 minutes, 33 seconds. Nice. Marigold, that was my question about everything goes back into love and that all is love. When you say, Marigold, when you say everything goes back into love and that all is love, that's like part of it and it's not part of it, because it's not just love. All is everything. It's not just love. It's also hate. It's also fear. It's also, it's everything. It's not just love. If you want to say the all is anything, you would say the all is infinite and undefinable, because to define it would be to pinpoint it to one thing, and if it was one thing, then it wouldn't be the all. It's got to be fucking all. It's got to be everything. Does that make sense? One love. Yeah, I know Bob Marley said that, and we can focus on everything being love. Like, I don't want to be a fucking pest, like a Debbie Downer about this shit. It's just not accurate when you say it that way. Does that make sense? It feels good and it sounds good, and I'm not saying you should aim towards love, right, more than hate, but But love and hate are the same fucking thing. They're this love and hate are the same thing. Is my point. Is by saying love, you're introducing the opposite. By naming something, you're committing to a dualistic world. In other words, if you focus on love, you're immediately bringing up hate, and that's just how it's always going to be. But if you focus on the infinite, on oneness, then you lose duality. You transcend duality. But as soon as you say love, as soon as you say happiness, you introduce sadness. As soon as I say hot, you introduce cold. As soon as I say anything, you introduce its opposite. Ooh, that's a good question, Lady B. If you bought my book, you would find that out. Sorry, that was my little sales pitch. But the opposites are the same thing, but to varying degree. I literally just... I know, it's a tricky one, but it's super fun at the same... It's a full moon right now? Yeah, Lizzie, exactly. That's something called... So Lizzie said the people you love the most can become the people you hate the most. That is, in the Hermetic philosophy, something called the law of compensation, meaning that everything compensates for everything else. So your capacity for love is your capacity for hate. And a good example of that is relationships. So the more you're in love with someone, the more heartbroken you are when it doesn't work out, as compared to meeting someone and having like a good weekend and you never see him again. It sucks, but you forget about him usually pretty, sooner than later. And same thing with hate. If you love someone, just what she said, the people you love the most can become the people you hate the most, because that's just how it is. And when it comes to the moon is a spacecraft. That's funny. The moon is definitely a spacecraft. It's the spacecraft from Star Wars, and eventually it's going to shoot a beam out and hit the Earth and blow us all up. Just kidding. That wasn't... That was a joke. Whoa, I agree. So, blah, 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 blah. I'm going backwards, so I didn't miss anything juicy. Marigold, in order to answer that question, we need to define love, which is neither good or bad, but what is necessary for us to evolve consciously. That's a good point, and that's exactly why the Greeks had 7 words for love, you know what I mean? And now that I have my computer, might as well just fucking look it up. So they have 6 words for love. Oh, philia, which is love for friendship between equals, and you have eros, which is sexual passion love, agape, which is in terms of if you're Catholic, agape love, that's the love for God. Storge means tenderness, love, affection, parents to your child. Pragma, a model of love with 2 people demonstrate during a lengthy marriage. And then philiutia, love for one's own self. So even the Greeks knew that love is not a simple thing, can be broken down. Love is vague. Love actually doesn't have a good definition for it, for what love is. But I don't think... Am I cutting apples with that knife? No, I use this knife if any of you guys have gotten... Well, let's look at it. When you guys buy the candles from me, I write you cool little notes, and I have a little wax seal, and I cut blocks of wax, for example. So, if you're wondering what I'm doing with the knife, these are wax, little wax bars, and then I have a little seal with my initial, and I seal flowers on the notes for you guys and press my little initial in there. So that's why I have this shank right here with me, just swinging it around aimlessly. But so what do you think we learn all of this for? If when we die we reset, maybe how do we hold this information we learned? Is it to level up to something else, you think? Excuse me. What did we learn all this for? I don't think we reset completely when we die. We carry information in our DNA, literally carry information and memories, and scientists are toying with the idea that we're carrying memories, and they're doing studies to prove that continuously so they can say verbatim that it happens. And what I believe is all this knowledge will subconsciously be programmed into my offspring. So I believe that what we learn, our kids pick up, and that is the case. I mean, it's how spiders don't have to be taught how to make webs. Think about how difficult it would be to make a web. Those things are crazy beautiful, and it just ridiculously hard to make, especially for never teaching it. It's in the genetic makeup. So I believe the point of learning is to pass on down the line, and eventually we get smarter and smarter and smarter. And usually more knowledge calms things down. I believe that ignorance has a lot to do with why we have war and why we have animosity and shit. So the more knowledge we have, theoretically speaking, we'll have more peace. Trying to be. Is it really it's not the full moon tonight? Is it? Aren't we like 5 days off from the full moon? Lady B, you don't get how the opposite of something is the same. I'm way behind you guys' questions, by the way. I was not gonna say sure. So many comments. I'm not sure if I can. Andre, so we are moving through contrast the whole entire time we are consciously awake in our physical bodies. That's a good question. Are we moving through? I don't know what you mean by moving through contrast the whole entire time. Kind of moving through contrast. I mean, if we look up the term contrast and see what it says as far as the definition. The state of being strikingly different from something else. That's good. We could just use that definition. The act of calling attention to the state of being strikingly different from something else. So when I say part of the reasons, I don't know if this is a reason why we have contrast, but I know a result of contrast is beauty. So you think of a white or a field of white flowers, and then you have one red rose in the middle. Have you seen pictures like that? The red rose looks gorgeous. It looks amazing. Just a sea of white flowers, and you have a red rose. Or opposite, you have a sea of red roses and then a white rose right in the middle of it. Like, how fucking cool is that? Contrast is what creates beauty most of the time. Like if you guys upload your pictures to Instagram and you crank up the contrast, what that does is it adds more definition to the lines. So that definition makes that object stand out more, and it makes it sharper. It makes it more visually appealing. And that's again what the ego does. The ego is almost a human contrast meter. So you can crank up the contrast and define the human. You get too egotistical and you get too focused on the individual and you forget about everyone else, and then you get war and famine and shit because no one gives a fuck about anyone except for themselves. So, right, you can't have too much contrast, but also contrast is amazing at the same time. Free the gods of love and war. Oh, free love. See, isn't that interesting how you can be the goddess of love and war? The Greeks and the ancient people were brilliant, and they understood these things. They understood the dualistic nature of reality. That's why I love ancient texts and mythology and philosophy and stuff like that. I do love making shit look cool. If anything, I'm a make shit look cool doer. If anything, that's like my fit. My goal is to blow up on social media and then just run the biggest beautification projects ever and just beautify fucking everything I possibly can. That's my main goal. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm just trying to make shit look really cool. Boiling water, ice, still water. Truth for some, lies for others. Boiling water, ice, still water. Truth for some, lies for others. Music is beautiful for the space or gaps of silence creating harmony. Space or gaps of silence creating harmony. I don't know where you got that from, Anissa, but there's like at least 2 or 3 composers who all say the same thing about it's the space. It's not the notes that you play that make music sound beautiful. It's the notes in between. It's the space in between the notes that make them sound beautiful. So you have a thing, and then you have no thing, and then you have a thing, and then you have no thing. So the spaces are just as important as the thing itself, because without the space, you couldn't have the thing. And without the thing, you couldn't have the space. So that's kind of like the dualistic nature of things. You have to have space for something to exist inside of. You have to have the container for the thing. It's crazy. But that's nature. That's what the Hermetic philosophy means by polarity, by contrast, by things being half truths there and not there at the same time. It's there's so much. Like I could talk about the Hermetic philosophy for days. It's such a cool topic. The cartoon Pinky and the Brain is Pinky and the Brain. How are you gonna drop Pinky and the Brain on me right now? I used to love that show. Basically, the 2 sides of the ego: the ambition and the ignorance. That's awesome. I've never looked at Pinky and the Brain that way, Lizzie, but I should, because that's really neat. Isha, ICB, what up, Isha? Everyone say hello to Isha. Isha, how you doing? Do I watch Rick and Morty? No, I don't. I should. If they had it on Netflix, I would watch Rick and Morty, but my TV show watching is limited pretty much to Netflix. I would like to watch Rick and Morty. That's on another fucking level. Lizzie, I just read your comment saying ego is good for ambition, however bad when it comes to ignorance. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Luis Garcia, what up? Did I miss any of you guys' questions that you wanted me to answer? Alright, peace out, Lady B. Thanks for stopping by. Damn, I think you... Ooh, there's one thing I wanted to say. I think I might do a giveaway for... I don't know how I feel about these beeswaxes. They don't have much of a honey smell to them like the other ones did. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing, because I mixed the beeswax with essential oil anyway, so it might be nicer if there's no beeswax smell, because it'll come through stronger. But it's weird. My bad, you guys. I'm like, we're just dicking around. The beeswax is half truth. Yes, it is half truth. Goddamn half truth beeswax. Bastards. Half truth beeswax. Taking it back. I don't know if I showed this to you guys yet, but I got a new mold for the beeswax, and it's a pillar candle, and it's fucking 19 ounces. It's like a pound and another 10% of a pound, 15% of a pound of wax. Definitely a fan of the pillar. Anubis just ran out. I think we might be tapped, y'all. I think we might be tapped. Unless you guys have anything else to say. It is a fucking weapon. This thing is a beast. The Toth candle holders? I know, they're super sick, huh? Oh, wait, no, these aren't Toth. These are Anubis. Is that what you said? Yeah, these aren't Toth or Anubis. Toth has the ibis, the little, like, bird nose. Anubis has the dog head. Anubis was the guardian of the underworld, I believe. And the Toth was god of magic, wisdom, writing, and like hella other stuff. But I found some candles, some candle holders that are Toth, and I want them fucking bad, and they're only like $25. Watch, check this out. Check these out. I'm not sure it is, so I can switch this around. How cool is that? These are pretty sick. These are the Toth candle holders that I want real bad. Ah, those are dope. So I'm about to auction off my Anubis candle holders. I'm about to auction these bad boys off if you guys want them, and buy me some new ibis candle holders. I lost it. Where'd it go? No, you're fine, Crystal. Don't sweat it. More videos about dreams? Hell yes. What I was thinking of doing is like, it'll make me stay on top of my dreams more too. But once a week, write down or do a video on my most interesting dreams, and just share them, because I have some pretty fucking wild dreams. Man, yeah, I have some pretty wild dreams. I'll do more videos on dreams. What I wanted to do, I guess, I wanted to do one more video on one of the most overlooked aspects of lucid dreaming, and that's in the field of psychoanalytics. And because part of the study of dreams isn't like the magical side, tapping into other realms and aliens, and you know what I mean, the weird fucking dark web side of dreams, but a very useful psychoanalytical tool, where your dreams are just a representation of your subconscious mind. So say you're 40 years old and you just have a shit ton of problems and a shit ton of habits that you want to break, and addictions that you want to break, and patterns of thought that you want to reroute. What I'm surprised no one is talking about is, why don't we use lucid dreaming, maybe not to fix those, but to help fix those things? Because if we can become conscious in our dreams, and our dreams are a representation of what's going on inside of our minds, then we can manipulate ourselves from going inside the dream. Like earlier when I was talking about how you can have conversations with dream characters and they represent parts of your psyche. Well, you could say verbatim, hey, manifest a child that represents me. Manifest 6-year-old Keith, for example, and I want to have a conversation. Okay, like 6-year-old Keith, what's scaring you right now? What's your biggest fear? What are you worried about? What are your concerns? What is life like for you? And then you might get a glimpse into a part of yourself from your childhood, and you can have a better understanding of who you are and where you come from. And that's a part of lucid dreaming that no one's talking about, that I think is pretty fascinating, because it kind of you become almost a computer hacker, like a computer programmer, only you're programming your own software, which is pretty fucking phenomenal. And lucid dreaming is something that's been verified scientifically, something that people experience and can reproduce with practice. It's something that anyone can do as long as you train properly. Um, so it's I want to do more videos on that, like pretty much exactly what I said. I want to do a video on, so you guys have already seen it, but I want to do like a legit video, start to finish, so that people outside of the live can see it. Because I doubt they'll come this far into the live, but but I'll do more. Yeah, I'll do more. I'll do that video. That's a big one I want to do, and then dream vlogs are pretty dope. I would like to do dream vlogs. Because I've had, like I said, I've had some pretty cool. Like my lucid dreams are pretty wild too. I don't know. They're all pretty dope. But going back to you guys' comments. Dreams tend to be very subjective, but I still find it's important to talk about it. I agree. Last question from Marigold Rose. I think I'm gonna get all your questions in now because I think I might get off at 9:30. I'm getting tired and I need to make more candles. So last question from Marigold. I thought humans were the only creatures that experience duality, as we're the only ones who can rationalize, and everything else is only fractals of God, not his opposites. All right, there's a few things in that question. If you guys want to read Marigold, scroll up a little bit and read it to yourself again. So no, humans aren't the only creatures that experience duality. Like I said, everything. If you're familiar with the Hermetic principle or the Hermetic philosophy, one of the principles is the principle of correspondence. And you might know it as above, so below, as below, so above. That's what the Bible terms it, and pagans and stuff like that. They like the as above, so below. Well, what as above, so below is saying is that every level is the same. They all have the same principles operating. They just manifest differently. So, like for example, the lines in my hand, right? The patterns of the lines. If you were to look at a river delta, right, where the river enters into the ocean, it would be the same thing. They break out and they fractal out. And if you zoom outward or you zoom inward, you could see the neuron pathway of the brain, and it has the same fractal. It all fractals out, and then you zoom out again to the galaxies, and the cluster galaxies all have the same thing. They go in lines and they kind of fractal out. So that's what the law of correspondence is saying, that every level has the same things going on, but they manifest differently. And polarity is the same thing. Polarity is everywhere. It's in the mind, it's in the physical world, but it just manifests differently. So it's not just humans. Anything in existence anywhere is going to experience some form of duality. And what we do is we kind of that's it for now. I was going to go on a tangent, but that's it. So I'll keep going. And when you say only fractals and you say, and everything else is only fractals of God, not his opposites. So if you're going to use the term God, which I'm okay with, in saying that God is source from which everything comes from, God has no opposite. There is no opposite of God. That's the thing. Anything that extends from God will have an opposite. But God himself, if God is everything, right? So if you say God is all, then there would be no opposite. Like, where would the opposite exist, right? Because if God is everything and is everywhere, there's nothing outside of him or her or it for something else to exist, to be its opposite. So no, God does not have an opposite. God does not have polarity or rhythm or correspondence or vibration. Any of these laws that are in the Hermetic philosophy, none of those things apply to God. They come from God, but they are not him or her, whatever God is. So God is undescribable. It's subject to no laws. No laws can act upon it because all laws come from it. It's not susceptible to flattery. Like, you can't like make God feel more special by praying to it, for example. Like to say that God is a jealous entity is almost blasphemous. You know, like it like we're it's just it's crazy. Doesn't have human emotions. It's fucking something undescribable. That's why I'm like when people say God is love, it's like no, love extends from God, but God is not love. God is you cannot label God. You can't. You like don't even try. The sages and mystics say to try to describe what God is like a rat on a wheel, just running like a fucking madman for eternity, always running, and then in the end, it dies exactly where it started, tired as hell. And that's what it's like to try to define God, even if you want to define God as love, which is why I say God is not love. Not to say God is hate or trying to be pessimistic, but God is undefinable. You can't define that thing that is source. Um, Nicholas, Satan is a representation of the ego. That is something that I've been toying with. So when I talk about the ego, I read something called the Kabbalah. Is it the Kabbalah? Yeah, the Kabbalah, which gets pretty dark. And I agree to a certain point that the ego is Satan. Not ego equals Satan, but so I don't know if you were here earlier, but the ego is, so I just talked about God being everything, right? Like I'm using the word God, not like the Christian God, but just we have to use certain terms to talk about that fucking indescribable thing. The Hermetics use the term the all because it doesn't have religious connotation. It's just everything. It's the easiest way for them. But we can say God, the all, energy, source, whatever, oneness, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So I just was talking about that being the totality of everything. So the ego is the tool that separates us from everything so that we are no longer experiencing infinity. We're now experiencing duality and vibration and correspondence, all these laws. We're experiencing those things because we have an ego. So one, the ego is amazing and that God can have an infinite amount of experiences witnessing itself, right? That's a beautiful thing about ego. But the terrible thing about ego is that it gives us a very, very, very powerful illusion of separation from source. So because we're cut off from source, you could say that the ego is the source of all evil. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with saying that the ego is the source of all evil. What I'm not okay with is demonizing it and say you got to kill it and just making it seem like this piece of shit thing. It's like the way the Kabbalah describes it. It's pretty weird. It's pretty interesting how it describes it. It says that evil is a necessity, because I'm trying to think of a good analogy, but I'm drawing a blank. I mean, imagine you're in oneness and it's the total, it's whatever the fuck it is, and then you suddenly get thrown into a human existence. How terrifying that is! How far from home you feel, how lost you feel, how cut off you feel, and now we know that most of depression and suicides come from a feeling of isolation. So we can imagine that the isolation we're feeling is because of the ego, because we've been cut off from source, and it's like it's fucking scary. That's why I named my first channel Welcome Home, because I designed it to be this kind of my YouTube channel to be a hub where all these souls are poking around the darkness looking for truth and seeking answers and diving into the abyss, and it gets dark and fucking scary out there because it's isolation and we're cut off from source with our ego, but we have a place to come back and kind of share stories and talk to each other and make sense of the world and try not to feel like such fucking crazy people with like-minded folks. So yeah, when you say the ego is Satan, like it is, but in that case it's necessary, because you take away the ego, then you take away existence as entities. Then we all just go back to source. Marigold. I'm glad that made more sense. I'm not sure what I said made more sense, Marigold, but I'm glad that it did. If you want a good source of studying, read the Kabbalion by the Three Initiates. It's the Hermetic philosophy. It's the 7 principles of the Hermetic philosophy, and it's very cut and dry. It's not. It doesn't get too far into spirituality. It doesn't get too far into like magic, and not that those things are bad, but it's just it's not washed out. It's not watered down. It's not someone's perception. It's not someone's take on these things. It's verbatim the 7 mechanisms that govern existence. And it's called the Kabbalion by the Three Initiates. And that's what my book is on. Literally, I just went to the Kabbalion, took verbatim what the laws were and what they meant, and all I did with my book is I applied modern psychology and quantum physics, and I just made it so that it was more practical, because the Kabbalion was written in 1912, and so I basically just updated the Kabbalion. So you can read my book for the updated version, but the Kabbalion, I know I'm not supposed to say this, but it's probably a little better than my book. My book's dope as fuck. I like it a lot. But it's both. If you want to study this shit, I've studied a lot, man. I've studied pagan religions and shamanistic religions from different countries, and Christianity. I was raised Catholic, Judaism, Islam a little bit, Buddhism, Hindu, Norse mythology, Greek mythology, African mythology. And when I came across the Kabbalion, it was the first text that contained everything that I had studied from every other place, and I was just like, holy shit, all the dots were connected, everything made sense. So when anyone ever asks me what should I read, what should I study, like the Kabbalion first and foremost, whatever your practice is, fucking voodoo or whatever you're into, it will substantially reinforce. Even if you're a fucking like architect or a teacher or a musician or anything, like it doesn't matter, or wanting to be a parent, anything, if you study these principles and start learning how the world operates, it will help you substantially. Ego and duality go hand in hand. Ego and duality go hand in hand. Yeah, that's a good way of. Jazzy's a fox. Ego equals easing God out. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, but like that sounds awfully negative. I don't like easing God out. That makes it sound like the ego is a bad thing, which I hate. If I may use the word hate, I hate when people fucking talk shit about the ego, because I believe that it leads to an unhealthy ego. And an unhealthy ego is the most destructive fucking force in the universe. It's the most creative force in the universe, which is amazing, but it's also the most destructive force when you don't see it, right? So be careful on talking shit about the ego. That's what we're trying to get away from here. I am God and downgraded to a queen. Lizzie, you say I am God downgraded to a queen. I don't know if you've read the Kabbalion, but it says something really funny in there. I'm gonna talk trash right now, but Lizzie and I are homies, so she knows this is all fun and games. But I can't remember the exact line, but it says that the sages laugh at people who say stuff like that exclaim I am God, and they say that it's like akin to a carbon atom screaming I am man. That's also interesting. I wanted to make a video on that. I'm glad you said, because that's a really funny thing, how people in the spiritual community are like, I am God, like I am God. You're not. Well, I can't prove that, but I don't think you are God. More so than Hamlet is Shakespeare. Like, could you imagine reading a book and Hamlet just goes, I am Shakespeare? Like, no, the fuck, you're not Shakespeare. Hamlet, you're Hamlet. You're a part of. You're in the mind of Shakespeare. You're an aspect of Shakespeare, but you're not Shakespeare. Oh, you're quick, Lizzie. You are fucking quick with the jokes. That was a good one. They make up everything. That's fucking hilarious. That's hella funny. I'm trying to go back up. Exact outside, I believe, too. Be The Good Place, the TV. Damn, I just watched The Good Place, man. The Good Place. She's asleep. She was actually sleeping the entire time The Good Place was playing too. Actually, that's funny. But The Good Place is dope. I really enjoyed all the movies. All the best movies use the best principles of the Hermetic philosophy, especially duality. Some of my favorites are like Batman and Joker. So you have Batman, who represents order and structure, and reason and logic, and then you have the Joker, who's equally as powerful, right? And Batman and Joker, not one of them are stronger than the other. They are equal to each other because remember how rhythm compensates. So good movies will always make the bad guy just as strong as the good guy, and they will always be the exact opposite of each other to represent the duality of the world. So you have Batman, who represents order, and then you have Joker, who equals chaos. And these are the two forces that create the world. Chaos destroys things so that you can have random pieces, and then you have order that puts those random pieces back into things. But if you have a thing, right? If you have an Anubis candle, it can never ever be anything else other than an Anubis candle unless it's destroyed, returned back to chaos. So both forces are needed to create new things. And good movies always do that. It's always about order versus chaos. Like the balance of power, and if one is destroyed, the other one's always destroyed, and if one survives, the other one always survives, because there always has to be a balance. And those are the types of things that you see in movies when you start studying the occult and studying patterns and stuff like that. So if you're wanting to write your own book or your own screenplay and you're like a creative type of person, keep these things in mind. Keep in mind like contrast, keep in mind balance, rhythm. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Isn't Duality Marigold? Damn, I feel like it's so hard to keep up with all these. I'm gonna read them all first, and then I'll go back. You get big creative deal. Do you think our mind creating the Nicholas, to answer your question, so the ego basically created the veil. Do you think our mind creating the illusion of separation? That's like exactly what it is. The ego. I believe that the ego and mind are the same thing. Me personally, the Kabbalion doesn't say that, but I feel that way. I feel like the ego and the mind are kind of the same thing. I don't think the ego, or yeah, I think the ego either created the veil or it is the veil. I'm not sure, but yeah, you're on the right track. Like exactly, the ego. It's the ego's job to give you this illusion of separation so that you can have your existence as whoever you are. Ego can be good or bad depending on vibration. Yes, great book. Understand your book better. Like what Gerald Clark says about Avatar Bodies of Thoth. No, that shit is a trip. I don't know what he says about that. Not received Spajik. The candles came in like 2 days. Just got home. I've not read replies. Oh, Nyakachi, you haven't gotten the Spagyric yet? Really? What the fuck? And of course, I sent that one. I didn't send the Spagyric priority. So, of course, I don't have a tracking number. Great. Damn. Fuck. I sent you a bunch of goodies in that package, too. I sent you a big-ass free bundle of sage that I picked because I felt bad that you didn't know that they came together, so you had to order. Basically, you paid for shipping twice, so I sent you a big-ass bundle of sage in there. So I hope they didn't fuck that up and get that lost. I'll be really bummed if that happened. I'll go... If it doesn't get to you, I have work tomorrow, so I can't go. Friday... I have work also, so I might not be able to go. I might not be able to go into the post office until Saturday to see what happened with that package, but hopefully you've gotten it by then. And if it's not, then I'll just send you out another one. But I hope it does, because that made yours super nice. Oh, did you not see that order came from chaos? Yeah, that's right. He does say that, huh? Azanaza, what it do boo boo. Yeah, order definitely comes from chaos. Um, chaos is like yeah, I mean chaos is chicken or the egg came first. I think yeah, I don't know. They probably both came at the same time, but yeah, order does come from chaos because you have the infiniteness. So the human mind um things act like so. Another one of the laws is this law of cause and effect, which says you can't have an effect that doesn't have within it a piece of the cause. Um, the mind was isolated, is an isolated part of the all, um, like solidified almost. Like you have everything and then you condense it into one fine point. And that's kind of what the mind does to the rest of the universe. It like keeps doing it. It does what it was created to do. It takes chaos, infiniteness, and then it condenses it into things like the candle, or like this book. Like the mind is constantly taking chaos and creating order out of it, structuring it, and creating new things. Um, or yeah, it's what I believe the mind is for. What's my take on magic mushrooms? I don't know. I want to talk about magic mushrooms, but that was why my last channel got shut down, and I'm all paranoid now about talking about it again. Because if this channel gets shut down, my heart will be fucking broken. Because it takes a really long time to build a following, especially on YouTube. With that being said, I think they're great. I think you should be careful with cannabis, not to overdo it, because while I think you have there's the endocannabinoid system in your body. So scientists used to think at one point that cannabis mimicked certain hormones that your body produces and then plugged into their receptors, like other drugs do. But what they just found out recently is something called the endocannabinoid system. If you're at a computer, type it up and keep it open on a tab so you look into it. It's really fascinating. What they're seeing is that in your adipose tissue, which is your fat, in your nervous system, in your stomach, I think that's it. Maybe your kidneys and even your fucking pancreas. Basically, what it's showing is that cannabis isn't mimicking hormones. It's that your body is actually designed specifically for the cannabis plant. So what they're hypothesizing or theorizing is that the human body actually evolved alongside cannabis. And no, not that cannabis is mimicking anything, but that cannabis is supposed to be there, and that is plugging into systems that are designed specifically for cannabis. And it's called the endocannabinoid system. Endocannabinoid system. So the endocannabinoid system is a biological system composed of endocannabinoids, which are endogenous lipid-based retrograde neurotransmitters that bind to cannabinoid receptors. That's a mouthful. And cannabinoid receptor proteins are expressed throughout the mammalian nervous system, including the brain, peripheral nervous system, your fingers and shit, involved in regulating a variety of physiological and cognitive processes, including fertility, pregnancy, during pre and postnatal development. Basically, what it's getting at, lipid-based it's basically everything that I just said. You have a system that's designed for cannabis. Oh, damn, Bashir, what a doo-doo. So yeah, my thoughts on cannabis is that you're in the building. Is that it's? I mean, they're straight up saying that the body was designed to specifically take in cannabis, that it's not mimicking it. So, but why I say you need to be careful with cannabis is cannabis tends to be very feminine in nature. Um, it tends to be very feminine, very passive in nature. What's the word for it? There's a oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Beer has it too, because you know that hops are a cousin of cannabis. Like cannabis is cannabis sativa and beer is cannabis fucking beer, whatever the scientific name for beers. They're cousin plants and they both have I can't remember the name, but they're estrogen based hormones. Um, that's why men who drink a lot of beer start to get man boobs, because they're phyto based estrogens, meaning the plant creates its own estrogen. So I need you. So basically, be careful. Don't smoke too much, or you get too feminine. Like I don't know if you know any piehead stoners, but they're hella passive, and are really soft. But at the same time, I do believe that it's essential for regular health maintenance, and also cannabis is fat based, is lipid based, fat soluble. So if you guys know anything about cannabis, the reason why you have to smoke it is because it churns THCV is how the plant exists, which is an acid, and it releases the V and makes it not an acid, and you can absorb it into the bloodstream. And if you were to eat it, you have to cook it in butter or oils or coconut oil, olive oil, butter. And the reason why you have to cook it into these things is because it dissolves into the fat and then it gets absorbed, because cannabis is fat soluble. And it gets stored in your body. So you smoke a joint and it stays in your system for a month. That's why it takes so long to come out of your system, because your body wants to store it. Well, it doesn't take much weed to trigger your endocannabinoid system. Like if you're smoking weed for spiritual practices or for health practices, honestly, I would say no more than about once a week. Even Terrence McKenna said that. He was like, he was a huge advocate of weed, but even he said he only smokes a joint about once a week. It stays in your body forever. It goes into your fat cells, and it gets, especially if you don't exercise, it stays in your body twice as long. So my thoughts on cannabis, in a nutshell, it's good for you, but it's a very feminine plant. Don't smoke too much of it, and it stays in your body forever, so you don't need much of it. Also, try to eat it. Don't try to smoke it. Like there's so many amazing benefits. Bob Marley said roll it in honey. Yeah, but Bob Marley was also a fucking Rastafarian, and he smoked like a train. I don't care how many bangers Bob Marley comes out with. Your average Joe can't chief that much herb and be a regular functioning human. I'm sorry, that shit's just fucking not gonna happen. Damn, I'm stoked that Shira is here, though. I'm not sure if she's still here, but thanks for stopping by. I was saying when I started this, I was bummed. I was like, oh, damn, Ashira's on live right now, and half the squad are probably over there. But I had to get it out anyways. Bob is boss. I'm not hating on Bob, but that dude is a fucking phenomenon of humanity. Bob is a... Phytoestrogen, that's what it was, Lux. Yeah, cannabis is a phytoestrogen. Beer hops that they use to make beers are phytoestrogen. So if you're big into drinking beer, try to stay away from really hoppy beers like IPAs. What do you call them here? Big now. Kombucha beers are good because they're not hop based. Wheats are good because they're low on hops. I mean, plants are great for you guys, but they all have their own chemistry. Plants all have their own things, and some of them produce estrogen. Like if you have too much estrogen, mushrooms, go figure, mushrooms are shaped like dicks, right? So that's a big thing in the plant world. A lot of times what plants are shaped like have a corresponding aspect to the human body part, which is fucking crazy. Marigold. All right, I'll scroll up. I'll go up and scroll up and see your question. Oh, Kevin Brake. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Silent darkness with the best stuff you can get and smoke the hell out of it. Damn, I have so much to do still, and I'm on live. An hour long, 40 minutes longer than I said I would be on live for. I can't find your question, Marigold. Marigold. That's what I'm saying. No, oh, in order to perceive duality, you'd have to have a mind. Isn't duality birthed in mind? Yes, you have to have duality. I mean, you have to have a mind to perceive duality, but ooh, these smell bomb as fuck. What up? Look at all this oregano. When you're talking about mind, though, there's different kinds of minds. Like, we have an extremely, well, as far as humans are concerned, we could have a very low functioning mind compared to aliens and shit, who knows. But as far as the rest of the planet is concerned, humans have a very complex and a very refined mind. But that's not to say that other animals don't have minds. That's not to say dolphins don't have minds, or minerals don't have minds, or plants don't have minds. I mean, we are built from plants. Like my body was put together from plants. So to say that things that don't have a mind all of a sudden created something that has a mind breaks the law of cause and effect, because you can't have an effect that doesn't have a piece of the cause in it. So if everything extends from a mind, from a conscious mind, then everything created from it must also have some version of a conscious mind. Now, how that mind manifests and how good that mind is comes with time or manipulation or whatever. Like, minds vary. You can have really good minds, shitty minds, low functioning minds, but everything's got a mind in its own right. So everything's going to be able to perceive the world in its way of perception. If, you know, it's... I'm not sure how a rock would perceive shit, but I'm sure if we, you know, 1,000 years from now, we'll invent a piece of technology that will be able to measure fucking the perception of a rock the same way scientists thought the aura was a joke for 100 years, until we came up with an electrocephalogram and we were able to measure the aura. Only we didn't call it the aura, they called it the electromagnetic field. So they gave it a scientific term and everyone was happy, but everything has a mind. Everything has a mind. My thought on alchemy, I'm going to take this downstairs, you guys, because I really need to make at least one candle. Before I go to bed, because I have orders to put out tomorrow. Fuck, I have a lot to do right now. My thought on alchemy. What about alchemy? I think it's great. I love alchemy. That's what the Hermetic principle is. It's alchemy. These my little dream tinctures. These are that's fuck. It doesn't get more alchemical than that. I don't know if I've explained. Most of you guys know, but if anyone doesn't yet, this is spagyric is one of the most one of the biggest things of alchemy was separating plants, or distilling different parts of plants and minerals from spirit, body, and soul. There are three different things: mind, body, spirit. And so that's what this is. Ashira, you're fucking. So this is Ashira's the gold elixir, the phase 1. I mixed the phase 1 with my dream blend, and I've been having the fucking, I feel like it just boosted my dream blend. I'm actually really enjoying that elixir. Ashira, thank you very much. All right. I need to. Oh man, this is such a bummer. But to answer your question, Ashira, it's fucking phenomenal. How many of you guys in this room have Ashira's elixir, by the way? So I know some of you guys are from candle making in the process. I have new. If any of you guys want new spheres, and I'm making some of the pyramid. I make them upside down. Isn't that cool? So the bottom is the top, and vice versa. Yeah, no, I had some epiphanies too on Elixir. It's pretty amazing. But nice. If any of you haven't tried Ashira's Elixir yet, you should, because it's already been doing some pretty phenomenal things for me. And for people that have used it. I've talked to some people from my channel that have got it through Ashira's, and when I told them I had gotten her product, they were like, yo, you're gonna love phase 1, like this and that. So I was stoked to try it, and it worked really well. Yeah, I actually made a video on that Ashira a few days ago. I'm not sure if you caught that, but damn, my eyes are hella red right now. I have my thing. I need to melt that other wax down. Yeah, it really did. The first night I used my dream blend, I had about 10 dreams. I'm just guessing. I'm not sure. I fucking had a lot. At least 6 or 7, but it felt like a shit ton of dreams. And I couldn't remember them that well. Not that I couldn't remember them that well. They were just, I only remembered a little bit of them. And usually when I dream, I'll dream 2 to 3 dreams a night in full detail. Like last night's dream spanned a whole semester of college, which is the strangest thing I've ever experienced. But yeah, I mixed Ashira's elixir into my dream, and whether it's placebo or not, I'm fucking loving it. Next time I use the F word, I'll turn into a girl. Ooh, I wonder what being a woman's like. Fuck it, we'll find out. I just realized that I don't have anything to do. I poured, so someone from the YouTube page ordered a pyramid candle. If you're on here, that would be dope, because you would be able to actually see this is for you, and it's going out tomorrow. And Raven is also from the channel, and she ordered a pillar and a pyramid. So if you're watching, this is your pyramid about to be made in a couple seconds here. That will also go out in the next 48 hours. Shit smells bomb. Sorry, I forgot something. What did we forget? Kevin Brake, what do I have all these candles? One, because I'm the motherfucking candle master, and I just love candles. And then I found out about Beeswax candles. I was like, damn, these are even better than regular candles. because they burn twice as bright and they purify the air when you burn them. Like literally, like actually not woo-woo shit. Look that up. It releases negative ions into the air, which attach to positive ions, which tend to be things like dander, ash in the air. Bacteria and viruses usually have a positive charge on them, so the negative charge from this, so it purifies the air and it smells dank. But the reason why I have them in mass now is because I sell them. And these ones in particular I designed to go with my dream tincture. So I have the Lucid Dream tincture. I don't know if you were looking at that. This is how I get the candles out. Ow. And I mixed these beeswax with essential oil of cedar and lavender. And I chose those because lavender is associated with sleep. And it calms the nervous system so that you, when you're asleep, you can actually be chilled. And because even depending upon your stress level, your body has a certain amount of tenseness. That's why they say to do yoga and to meditate and to like feel your body to feel where the stress actually is. So lavender helps relax while you're sleeping. And cedar is very grounding. It's a fucking tree, you know? So what's more grounding than a tree? So while you're dreaming and blasting off and shit, I just wanted something grounding to have a nice balance to it. I just got it out. What up? Fresh ass candle. And I put them in pyramid shape because who doesn't want a pyramid shaped candle? Also, if you're into candle rituals and shit, the point of the candle has a lot to do with directing energy outward, whereas pointing things down is directing energy inward. So if you're into meditating, that's what they say. I think if you meditate with your palms up, it's receiving, and palms down, it's going down. But sorry, I'm going backwards and reading. Ashira, yes, I'm sending you all the goodies. You guys want to see something super dope? I know I'm getting super sidetracked right now, but this, I have I'm growing a monarch butterfly. That's his little cocoon right there. They have little gold flecks on the outside of the cocoon. How sick is that? Yeah, I'll send you candles though. Sure, absolutely. Ashira's phase 2 have people like me. Lizzie was telling me about how her husband enjoys her more when she's on phase 2 because it does the thing. It does the thing. I haven't tried phase 2 yet, so I can't verify personally, but that's hella funny. Yeah, I'll get the phase 2 soon though. Damn, how fucking cool is this? I forgot to tell you, when you guys order candles from me, I usually make them to order, so try not to burn them right away, because candles are supposed to cure for like a week. You can burn them after a couple days. You can burn them immediately, but they harden, especially with the essential oils in here, to actually set and get the smell. I'm not sure the chemistry behind it, but it's supposed to sit and cure the essential oils and the wax itself. So when you get the candles from me, try not to burn them right away. The longer you can wait, the better. But it's not that big of a deal if you want to burn them the same day. Oh my god, they smell so good. Cool. Now I have to write my little note and shit. Sorry, am I rambling right now? Was there something that happened that I missed? Oh yeah, the mystery of the builder of the pyramids. It was you guys. I built the pyramids. And they're actually not for tombs, and they're also not spaceships, and they're also not giant power sources. I designed them as fun houses. There's just like cool mirrors and shit on the inside when you figure it out. And that's it. That's pretty much nothing Us too at the giant funhouse. Ooh, read Ashira's comment above. I want to see your reaction. Yeah, musical mood ring. I have an Etsy. It's just Man of Letters Co. Man of Letters Co. But I only have the dream and the pyramids on there. I haven't updated it yet because I just got the spheres and those giant fucking 19.5 ounce pillars. I haven't listed those yet. So just leave me a comment, or my email is on the YouTube. You can YouTube me. What the fuck is that? And I'll get all that listed to you, so that I could get you some candles over. Oh yeah, I was supposed to be looking for a Shearer's thing. That's funny. Again. Tiffany, what up? Yeah, can we all stop for a second and acknowledge that the wonderful Ashira is among us? Is the fungus among us right now? Just like to say thanks for blessing us with your grace. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Any websites on Hermetic or alchemy? Good websites on Hermetics or alchemy? No, not really. I mean, the Kabbalion is your best source for Hermetics, especially as an introduction. I would start with the Kabbalion, and then go wherever direction interests you after that. But for alchemy, there's fucking, I don't know, because I don't study alchemy as in depth as I do the Hermetics. Alchemy stems from Hermetics, but it takes Hermetic principles and applies them to chemistry. So it takes for example, one of the Hermetic principles is correspondence, which says everything's connected to everything else. So what alchemists do is they say, okay, since everything is connected to everything else through correspondence, if this plant is hot, like a chili, I'm going to correspond it to heat. So I want to, like, I don't know, fucking cure something that's a cold and you need to apply heat. They'll use the heat from the plant, distill the plant into a pure form so it's more potent, and then shoot it towards its corresponding ailment. So they're very practical and they do experiments and shit. So that world of alchemy, I don't know very well. I'm getting into it more and more, especially with spagyrics, because that is alchemy, which is Hermetics made practical into science. So I don't have much resource for you on alchemy, but just fucking Google that shit, man. Like, it'll take two seconds to figure out a really good one. Yeah, there's some really cool YouTubers out there too that I don't know off the top of my head, but if you Googled them too, they would come up pretty fast, I'm sure. I think I'm done my job here. You guys want to see how the fucking little globe comes out? I'm not sure it's dry yet though. Cool, y'all. We going upstairs. What's up, Johnny? You can tell we're Egyptian here because we worship cats everywhere we go. Look at this guy. What up, Johnny? This guy's name is Johnny Cash. What's up? You regal motherfucker. Alright. We also got had to get a whole ran out of the lavender oil that I was using for the candles. This 1 pound can costs $150. How fucking crazy is that? 1 pound of this shit costs $150. It's pure essential oil. That's why it's so much. And lavender. It's like the most expensive essential oil ever. Isn't that fucking crazy? People just go ape shit over lavender. And you guys get them in your candles. How dope is that? I don't even charge more for the essential oils. Thought about it. I probably will eventually, but for now, I don't think I will. But a complete idiot's guide to alchemy. Ooh, there you go. That's they make idiot guides for everything. Set up a play date for velvet. I don't know what that means. Play date for velvet. Ooh, thanks, Tiffany. Appreciate that. You was dope too. We are all starch seeds. Onyakachis. Putting in work right now. Oh. that sounds like it could be misunderstood. But yeah, Johnny's the homie. Johnny would fucking be stoked on that. I actually have 2 cats. I have an all-white cat. She has 1 green eye and 1 blue eye, and her name is Marilyn Monroe. All right, you guys. I'm gonna kind of be distracted now because I'm gonna write the letter out to the person that's getting this candle. I'll still be here with you, but I'll be here and here with you. There's just a plethora of cats all over this channel right now. By the way, if I'm ever missing anything real, like, that I shouldn't be missing in the comments, remind me, because sometimes I miss things that you guys say and I just blow right past it. Ashura, please explain to Keith that the moon is a spaceship. That's just the silliest thing I think I've read today all day. And I read some pretty silly things on occasion. So I have this dope little... If any of you guys know what the paper they use in these notebooks are, let me know, because they're really good for calligraphy, but I can't find them outside of journals. So I've just been ripping pages out of my journal to send you guys your notes when you get the candles, and I feel bad for doing that because this journal is not cheap. But yeah, this is where the paper comes from. You guys get to see parchment. Really, that's all it's called? I feel like that's too easy. I thought it had like a special kind of name for it. If it's just parchment, I'm gonna feel like an idiot. By the way, Ashura, this is your note. I already wrote it out for when I send you the candle and the spagyric. I just have to sign it and seal it. Sign, seal, deliver. Ooh, that wasn't the right button. Um, Damn, don't get me started with moon conspiracy theories. I don't know many, but the ones that I do know are pretty fucking cool. Like, have you guys heard about the no astral projecting allowed on the backside of the moon thing? I've heard that from 3 different sources that I feel haven't conflicted with each other. So that sounds pretty fucking. That sounds pretty cool. Blank page. All right, we got one going out to Carmen S. No, I already did Carmen's. Oh damn. This is how they come out. If you guys, those of you who haven't gotten a candle yet, just a little note, and there's a bunch of lavender spots growing around town, and most of them are in public places, and so I just go around and I pick all the buds. I pick all the lavender buds and send them out, and I seal my little initial onto the paper, onto the. How fucking dope is it? You gotta make shit official, you know what I mean? It's gotta be as official as possible. That's why I ball with my Anubis candles. You just like, it's all about the fucking details, you guys. Like casting spells and shit. When you do rituals, I'm sure Ashira would back me up on this. It's not so much it's not so much like the crystal, or it's not so much the candle, it's not so much like the magic potion or like the chanting or the fire. It's about how much you can involve yourself in the process, because you are where the energy is coming from, right? So as many ways as you can put your energetic imprint onto something, the more powerful it's going to be. So like the letter, for example, I write it out with my hands, not with printer paper, and like pick the flour, drive around town to pick the flour, and like cut the wax and melt it and press it into the flour on really nice parchment paper with a fucking $150 fountain pen. Like it's straight up that's brass, like brass on. Who fucking does that? I have top shelf ink from Japan, calligraphy ink that came from Japan. You know what I mean? Every part of everything you do has a piece of your touch on it. So the more you involve yourself in a process, the stronger that process is. So if you can help it, like try to deck out all the little things that you can afford that are kind of like reminders to the shit that you want to create, or like the type of person you want to be. Because a little goes a long way, for sure. A little goes a long way. That was a gift, by the way. I didn't buy that. A friend bought it for me, and I am extremely thankful for that. So that's a nice ass pen. All right. Trying to catch up with you guys' comments. Done videos on the Ark of the Covenant? No, I haven't. I'm also not well versed in the Ark of the Covenant outside the traditional story I know a bit about, but like the rabbit holes of that, I don't. I could figure it out real quick though and let you know. Damn, I'm trying to read these. I'm fanning both of y'all. That's so cool. Stolen lavender? It's not stolen. It's in fucking public spots. Like, you can't steal it if it's in the parking lot. At least that's what I tell myself. I'm pretty sure it's fine though. That's a lot we didn't factor into the cost. I know I didn't factor a lot of things into the cost of the candles because I wanted to keep them. I wanted to just sell more. I don't want to make it too expensive. I was trying to make it about the same price as the rest of like the market, but make them way better so I could nail the quality and get them a good price as the feel I was going with. So I didn't want to go too expensive on the candles, but I just released them, so I have some wiggle room of how much I charge for them. But I feel right now they're pretty fair. They could be lower, but they could definitely also be higher. Like, all like $150 for the wax of the lavender. By the way, costs more than the candle. So a tablespoon of lavender oil is $10. Well, because there's 16 ounces in a pound. So a pound of lavender for 150. That means 10 times 16 is 160 because it was plus tax. So it's about $10 per ounce, which is a tablespoon. So every tablespoon is fucking $10 in one of these candles alone, not the wax, not the oil. So that for the or not the mold itself, like nothing. $10 a fucking, isn't that crazy? So, it is what it is, but it's nice. It's fucking lavender and people love that shit. So I get it. Gotta see what I. Kevin Brake, when you said Hermetic teaching, excuse me, or roots, branches, examples of the branches. So if the Hermetic teaching is the roots, the branches would be pretty much all other occult sciences, or all other religions, all other occult sciences, all other spiritual knowledge texts like Buddhism. They're huge on duality. And as you know, duality is one of the main fucking principles of the Hermetic philosophy. Catholicism, Christianity in the Bible, I don't know where the hell it says it, but Jesus says, as above, so below, so above, talking about how heaven is on earth, vice versa. That's the law of correspondence. That's the second law of the Hermetic philosophy. So that's where, and so of course Judaism talks about it. Shamanistic cultures talk about it. Law of attraction is basically the law of vibration, which they fucking butcher every time they talk about the law of attraction. So yeah, it's just it just kind of describes how the mechanisms of your other teachings work. Mostly. This is Carmen's, by the way. Carmen, if you're out there, this is your candle. So this is that. And then I have, what do I put her on that? Damn, I left my fucking packaging paper in the living room. Of course I did. No, my bad. I said duality and polarity. They're the same thing. I know. I get caught up saying duality because that's what most of the spiritual community uses, especially Buddhism. That's like all you ever read about is duality. But polarity is the same exact thing. Duality is like there are opposites, so like you're always gonna have the two, like the one and the opposite, and polarity is the same fucking thing. Like this pole, the North Pole and the South Pole, right there. You're always gonna have the two things. So they're the same. I don't think I missed any videos in the Hermetic series, which is great if you guys haven't seen that. I have my book is broken down, 7 pillars in my YouTube channel. Each video, it's the same shit. I use the same exact examples, read the same definitions. It's just a condensed version, and it's on there for free. So you don't even have to buy the book really to get the information. I really only did the book because I wanted writing a book makes you a more prominent figure in the business world. It's like, oh, he wrote a book kind of thing. So I basically wrote the book to give myself, one, to give myself street cred, and two, the best way to learn about something is to teach it. And so when I first came across the Hermetic philosophy, I thought there's probably nothing that I want to learn more at the time than that. So what better way to learn about something than write a fucking book on it? So that's why I'm able to just fucking talk for ages on anything, because if it's anything worth talking about, it's going to have these laws in it, and breaking those laws down and showing how they play out is one of the funnest things to do, period. Like, period. Whether they be wrong or right, you know, it's just the conversation itself is amazing to have. Fuck, come on. My bad, I'm forgetting to check your guys' comments again. Ooh, Tiffany, you have an energy healing business? Nice. Yeah, I hope all the things. If you guys have any, I mean, I technically have a business, but I wouldn't call myself a huge businessman. But if you ever do have questions on running your business or thing, like what do I do for marketing, or like ideas to grow your brand and grow your audience, and like, just let me know. I don't know much, but I have learned some pretty fucking useful tips in this world. Come on, I can't. Where the fuck is the knot at? All right, here we go. Sasa. All right, I'm going to show you in a second what these packages look like when I send them out. Almost done. 1 second. So to extra fancify this bitch, I go around and pick lavender flowers. Come on, I ran out of no more sticks. What's going on? That's a bummer. Someone seems to have stolen my stolen lavender buds. And then it comes out something like this. Wrapped in a little bag, tie with some cotton string on some fresh picked lavender from the from the parking lot. But yeah, that's going out tomorrow. My bad. I just been ignoring the hell out of you guys right now. My bad. I'm not fucking reading any. Damn it, Keith, you don't have any videos on Duality Poorly. Same thing, I answered that. Teach me some of that. Very related to pyramids, all the pharaohs and arcs, including Tutankhamun, whose tomb was discovered in the 1900s. He says, what you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, means as above, so below. Yes, Lizzie J, Keith, I wanted to talk to you about elixirs. Yes, that's dope. Lizzie, yes, that is definitely as above, so below. Tiffany, what about elixirs did you want to talk about? As soon as I'm done with this package, I'm dipping out, y'all. I fucking always say that, and I stay on hella late, but this time I mean it, because I got work in the morning. But what was your question about Elixir? Come on. This, I believe, is the base. So I cut that part off. And then come on, you son of a bitch. Oh, come on. Alright, I'm dipping out too, y'all. I can't get this fucking candle out of here. But, yeah, thanks for tuning in if you're still here. I will see y'all sometime soon. There we go. On the business level, yeah, Tiffany, definitely, that's fine. Well, yeah, just shoot me up, hit me an email. I have my email account, of course, on my, it's Keith Garcia, Keyth Garcia at Gmail, no, Keith Garcia 808 at gmail.com. Oh, damn it. Why did I do that for? Cool. All right, you guys. Is that it? You guys done? Dipping out? Check the laters. Check the laters. Fuck that up. All sorts of sideways. Damn it. It's a bummer. All right. Good morning, Benedict. Good morning, good night, man. We're all dipping out this bitch. Thanks for stopping by there. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good night. Damn, you're sure too. Take it easy. I'll get you your goodies out soon, and thank you. I'm really enjoying the elixir that you had. So, yeah. Peace out, everybody. Ariane, of course, everyone just starts coming on when I'm leaving. Lucivon Lestel, leave a comment on this video, and I'll leave you my email. If you don't find my email yourself, email me, and I got you on the candles. Cool. Peace out. See you guys soon.